Hello YouTube. It has been a super long time since we did a video. We have been working a lot. This video is not going to be very good. It's just kind of an update to show what we have been working on. Steph will probably put a bunch of photos and kind of explain what we've been up to, kind of with a timeline. I think our last video, I don't even think we had drywall. We just kind of had to put the pedal on the floor and just go. So this takes a super long time to document anything, but so I figured I'd just kind of drive around the property on our new little toy. We have a 1995 John Deere 4x2 Gator. Got it at an auction out of a little tiny town called Oakland, Nebraska. It's a 1995 and it has 1,100 hours on it. Now it's got all my crap in it. This is probably the hardest life it's ever had now that we own it, but 1995, 1,180 hours. She used it to water flowers, retired. Nobody else wanted to do it. So they sat it in a building for 5 years and we got it for a really good deal. So kind of give you a tour of what we've been working on. Hopefully the purr of the beast of a motor of the Gator doesn't distract too much from the video. But I'll kind of narrate as we go, just explaining what we've got going on. So we don't have water down at the garage, but we have been working on it. So that's kind of our temporary way to get water down there. This is Jurassic Park wall. We call it Jurassic Park stairs. Kind of getting overgrown now that spring has started. At the time I filmed this, it's like May 15th. So this is one of the ways up to the house. This is eventually going to be a walkway over to where the building will go, which is somewhere down there. Currently we have been working on a greenhouse and kind of a fenced in garden area. So the cinder blocks are going to be our raised garden beds. I say our like I'm going to do anything. Steph's raised garden beds that she spent a ton of time building, getting as square as possible with super unlevel ground. And I have been doing concrete today. So I got, I think, 7 posts set and I ran out of boards to hold them up. So over here we have some of our equipment. We have the old mower, which you guys have all seen, well, at least the 26 subscribers. That's what I use to mow down the hill. Then we have Bob, our little bobcat, and then Scoopy, which we got from Janae's parents. And they are big fans, and we are also big fans. They're a wealth of knowledge of how to do this real estate thing. So we got their old equipment, and it has helped out tremendously. The building for reference over there, we have the single car garage, which is that one. Put some time into that. Basically, there's an extension cord that runs down to it, and I put in some LED lights. We'll put some photos up of that. And the garage door opener actually works. That building we kind of call the murder shed because we found a gigantic corpse inside of it when we started cleaning it out a little bit. It's like a raccoon or something. I don't know. It was really gross, but that's our murder shack. Over here is our shed. This was the nicest building on the property probably when we bought it. There's just a bunch of crap in there, but I digress. We'll continue the tour. This area over here, you've seen us clean up, oh my god, like 3 or 4 times, and then the trees fall again. So that is going to eventually be our goat pen area. So we'll have a we're going to try to repurpose this building if we can, but it's just so dang short. So maybe we'll disassemble it, throw some cinder blocks underneath it for a foundation, raise it up, just since most of the wood's already there, but it could be a full-on demolish and just start over. It kind of depends on how we feel. It's ring shake nails, so everything is just absolutely horrible to bring apart or come apart. Other side of the shed, our old bathtub that was in the house. picnic table, the rhubarb patch that was like the only remaining part of the garden, kind of our burn pit. And then here's our sort of property line. We're eventually gonna reinforce this whole fence so it, you know, in case the dogs get out, the goats get out. Also, it's just kind of got a lot of weeds and stuff growing through it. So that big windstorm that came through did cause quite a bit of damage over here. We do have some. This actually happened before the tornado, so the tornado didn't do this. This was like a couple days before that tornado that came through, and I will share footage of that on the tree. Sorry, tree. This video as well. Yeah, so other side of the murder shack, propane tank. Nothing connects to it anymore, but it's still here. So maybe we'll have it as a backup for the shop if we ever have money to do that. This is going to be where goats go, or sorry, chickens. Chickens go here. So murder shack. This was all previously like a fenced-in garden. I did not kindly take it apart. That's what Bob was for. And this is going to be kind of fenced in. We'll use the walls of the garage and the walls of the murder shack. Put in probably 10-foot posts so the fence goes high. And then if we ever turn it into like a carport or something, we need a bigger chicken area, we can move the chickens over to where the goats will go. And we continue on. That would have been embarrassing if I crashed on video. I'm really glad I didn't. So this is all of the dirt that we got from our Council Bluffs house. We did a huge retaining wall, and this was a big valley, and that's, I don't know, 30 loads of dirt. Our dump truck is a new guy. We call him Dumpy, appropriately, because you have t-shirts on the floor to stop from getting wet from the holes. Yeah, we'll figure that out later. It works for what we need it for. I mean, $2,500 for an operational 3.5-ton dump truck. I'm not complaining about that. This is also what we call Poop Valley. This is where our new dogs, Faye and Knox, like to go to the bathroom, and it's like the only place they go. It surprisingly gets ripe in the summer. The old Tatown and the Z31 graveyard. These are some parts cars that I've accumulated, as well as the Hyundai. I have the parts to fix it. We blasted a deer with it, so it currently is not really operational because there's no coolant in it. Yeah, both of those are turbo cars, so hopefully the crankshaft in them's good. The equipment trailers, stacks of pallets from landscape, tile, you name it. This is our plow that actually came with the dump truck, so that's kind of a big win there. I'm excited about that. The hydraulic lines for it need some love, so we have not hooked it up. Plus, it's absolutely super duper heavy. So I was thinking that we were going to be able to put it on when we bought it, and the guy was like, "Do not drive on the interstate with this. You will hate your life." This is our new boat. We had some tenants that were our first tenants, actually, kind of near and dear to our hearts. They moved down to Kansas City. He inherited it from his dad. That's a 1988 Sea Ray, inboard, outboard, 130 horsepower motor, supposedly. Needs like a prop and maybe a water inlet thing. But it was more expensive for them to get a hitch and haul it down to Kansas City. And they said if we would be willing to throw it away for them. And I asked what was wrong with it. And they said, well, really nothing. So they gave us the title and license plates to it. So now we have a boat. We'll take that out fishing, hopefully, and we're going to do some test runs before we commit to a full day of fishing to make sure we don't strand ourselves in the middle of some lake. And this is a pop-up camper that was Steph and Will's grandpa. And Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. I just think of the twins when I think of the camper. I don't know if you've ever actually camped in this. I guess it needs a whole new exterior. Either way, we got it out of the way for William and Courtney, and Steph wants to camp. So right now it is hopefully not a shelter for mice, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Anyway, onward. So here is along the property line. Please don't look at the dandelions. It's a little embarrassing. I was going to mow before I did this, but the weather's just too nice, and I was doing concrete posts. I also got a sprayer to do it. So before we go through the forest, I suppose, we'll go on over here. There's the gazebo. So this is eventually going to be a, well, it's going to continue to be a gazebo, I guess, but obviously it has some issues with the roof and branches keep falling on it. So I think we're going to make sure it's structurally sound, maybe cut the floor out and shore it up and put like an actual concrete pad underneath there and sink a hot tub in it. Maybe do some sort of stairs or something up into here and then make this all flat. We've got exterior gas line ran as well as speaker wire and network. So this will eventually have an outdoor in-ground fire pit, outdoor natural gas kitchen, outdoor TV by the hot tub. We've got the provisions for that. There is also a speaker system that is meant to go out here that will kind of fill the space up. You can kind of see over here, that is actually a frost-free, water spout we put in. That got trenched all the way back to the exterior of the house, which we have some photos of that. That was kind of the last time we did anything behind the house. We have a pallet of block over there that's still left. We got caught by winter and never really started on that back up because we had more important things. This was a temporary greenhouse that Steph put together. Again, that windstorm just destroyed it. All of the stuff was neat, organized, and then it just all got blown all through there. So it was a sad day. But let's see. Yeah, there's still some tree damage. That tree fell down. Also in that same windstorm, it was a big mess and it broke off up there. But it's too big for the chainsaw I have. I bought another chainsaw and it isn't powerful enough or something. I don't know. It stalls out. I might just be bad at chainsawing. And away we go. So over here, this is where I set up my target gongs. This is a temporary setup, goes into the hill, not pointed towards any neighbors' houses. Does definitely set off some noise when it goes off. But yeah, I'm not very good. If you can see that I hit the chain instead of the actual gong. But anyway, it's fun. And this path is all new. We cleared it out. Over here, it looks like somebody at one point was trying to make a really flowery archway of something. So there's like lilac bushes on both sides or whatever these flower things are. I don't think they're lilacs. I said the wrong thing. I'm in the process of trying to kind of hog that out and get back through there, but there's another fallen tree in there which kind of stopped my progress. But this is where the previous homeowner used to burn everything. All these paths I cut in with the excavator. Mr. Bob, ooh, a rabbit. But this is his old burn pit. There's still just garbage over here. Eventually we're gonna burn it, but I don't like how close it is to the neighbor's house, so it's a little scary. But all of this is new. We made this path ourselves. And this is the way to get up to the hill. There used to be a fence over here, which I had to cut through, but it was already, the tree had already fallen over it, but this is how we get up to the hill now. I still need to mow over there, but I did a lot of clearing up here. When we did that path, I also brought Bob, our excavator up here. So we piled everything up. It's already starting to grow back, but these sapling tree things were just everywhere, and I couldn't cut them off. I couldn't mow over them. It was just a nightmare. So I came up here and I just spent, I don't know, half a day just like knocking them all down and picking up the roots and shaking them off and piling them up. Eventually we're gonna burn that when it's not as dry. We're gonna wait for probably a rainstorm. And I'm going to flip around and go the other way so my shadow's not in the video the whole time. But you can kind of see it's a lot more convenient to get up here now. And downtown Omaha, a heck of a view from up here. It's really nice just to come up. We usually take the dogs up here twice a day and just sort of chill for a little bit, have a beer maybe. There you can see the new tower downtown. So the building on the right is the First National Tower, and then I think the Woodman is maybe on the other side of it. But then that new Mutual Tower is right there. Cool, perfect focus, right over there. So that is supposed to be the tallest building in Omaha once they're done with it. But I will kind of go down our path here. So we call this the Blue Post. And this was all originally just a deer path that I came down here with the mower. This is where a lot of you guys saw me mow if you watched that video. But now it is wider. You can go faster. I gotta get rid of all of those saplings down there. They just are taking over. This is all native prairie grass. It's never been dug up. And I could go down there and dig it up, but I think that kind of takes away from it a little bit. But, so, I don't know if I should go down here or not. I probably will because it's fun and I'm filming, but my phone is on low power mode, so I have to engage the locking differential so I don't get ourselves stuck on camera. Also, this was like, Steph's big thing was, don't take the gator down there. Don't take the gator down there, you're gonna get stuck. And I'm like, I won't get stuck. And we had it for maybe all of 9 minutes. And it took me about 6 tries to get back up. I did get stuck and I was not gonna hear the end of it, so I was able to get it up. Got up the hill, but we're gonna go down. It's gonna squeak a lot because our brakes, that's just what they do. And with the locking differential, it doesn't have nearly the turning radius. In fact, we're gonna have to 3-point this so we don't flip ourselves over. At least there'll be a nice documentation for the insurance company when Steph gets my 401k. We don't know what happened. It was just an unexpected accident. Well, he drives down the hill and does dumb stuff. But this will need to get mowed again. God dang, I just mowed this. Wasn't that long ago. Get ready for some squeaky brakes. Oh yeah. But if anyone has a gator or has ever worked on one of these that knows how to make the brakes not squeak, I assume, I'm gonna unlock the differential so I can turn. I assume it has something to do with just like shaking the rust off of them like a car. But so again, more windstorm damage. But so here, came down here and mowed. You can kind of see up to where we were. So that little spot right about there is the bench. We're just gonna keep on rolling. So down here, I want to set up the shooting range. I'm gonna move those gongs more permanently. Now that we have a way to get more than just me down here with a lawnmower, like I'm gonna hoof it down here with a rifle on my back to go shoot, but dang windstorm, man. But yeah, I'm gonna try to put the targets back there and try to set up something so it's a little more long range. And I don't think Steph likes me shooting right off of the gazebo. This is after just, I think, 10 days of not mowing down here. This prairie stuff just really fills in. But it's really cool, and I try to convince Steph to come down here as often as we can because it's a whole section of our property that we like to enjoy, but it is literally like a mile walk, and I don't like snakes and mice. And this is kind of like snake and mice territory. I've actually only seen probably 2 snakes here. Not down here, but just at the property, which as you can imagine. If you don't like snakes, is enough to be too much. But, so this is still our property. There's actually a fence. You can't really see it. Back. Right. Sort of like there. That's a fence post. And that's where the barbed wire fence is. That is the property line. But gosh, all this stuff. They used to, I think they're shooting down here because I found some like literally burned up appliances that had bullet holes in them. But man, this gator makes this property way more fun. Dave and Lori's house up on the hill. Someday we're gonna get an actual like 4-person, you know, UTV. Those things are just so expensive. They're like $8,000 for one that needs a motor. So for now, the little gator's gonna do. I can kind of see, just to get an idea of the height difference. Up there is the trees kind of along the pathway. And then back there is the bench. And I have a little turnaround spot down here. And here we are. So our property line goes essentially to that tree. A little bit past that tree. So from there up to like that sapling, that is the imaginary line on the earth that separates our property from Dave and Lori's property. But now, here we go. Yeah, it's just neat. Come down here, you can see the little paths where animal, like the deer trails and stuff. So, you know, I don't really want to shoot deer at all. I like to eat deer, they're tasty. But people keep asking us if they can hunt our land, and it's really not in the cards because, I mean, it'd be too easy. We have a time of day probably between 8 and 9. We call deer 30, and they'll be like 5 to 8, maybe. But I think the most we had in our yard at one time was like 15 deer that just kind of stroll through and get drinks at the big water bowl. Of course, I have like excavator parts and tools in the back of the gator, so they're all clanging around. Yeah, not bad for a backyard. Right here, I actually found some antlers. I'll upload a picture of what I assume was a large buck, but I found them just on accident when I was mowing. So I think they just like sort of slough them off. Spider webs. Alright. So now, the fun part. Making it back up without getting stuck and having to tell Steph that I got stuck. Engage the old lock-in differential. Light confirmed. You can tell by the instrument panel that that means that it's engaged by the symbol that it has on it. All right. We're just going to cross our fingers and keep it to the floor. And we live to tell another tale. Turn the old lock and differential back off so we can actually turn the fabled bench. This is where I would like to have a big kind of 4th of July thing, get everybody to bring their chairs. You get a really good view of everybody blowing up all their money down in Omaha. So, plus that's Epley, so you get to see planes and stuff. It's pretty neat. I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been a single plane, but I guess it's a weird time to fly out right now. There will be more tonight. Back down the hill. I haven't gone that way yet with the Gator. I think it might flip over because it's too slanted. It works on the lawnmower, but the path is too narrow. And engage squeaky brakes. So I made a few variants of the path, so this is the way that you can go as well. And then this, I just cleared another tree that fell out of here. Kind of see the remains of it. And that goes back up the hill. But just to have options once we get a UTV, kind of make it more fun. But it's pretty fun just on a little Gator. Here's the entrance to that sort of flowery thing. Yeah, that's what's up. I don't know if it'll let me upload a 26-minute video, but we'll give it a shot. Let's kind of go back here through. Block myself in with all the vehicles. Oh, no. There's Poop Mountain as we go through Poop Valley. It's just gross. I don't know. Dogs are weird. But I am going to snag our doggos and maybe try to upload this video. So, thanks for checking in on our update. We'll try to keep them coming a little more regularly. But, yeah. Here we are. All consuming time, money, and energy. But it's going to be worth it. Thank you for watching.